first thoughts when I realized that Loki was going to have a series created for him were mostly surprise and delight, because I quite recently had filmed the scene in Avengers: Infinity War, and most people who've seen that film know what happens to Loki in that moment. So I thought this is wonderful, but how are we going to do this? Because what happens. So yeah, I was so excited and I was so thrilled. I felt very honoured that Marvel, the producers at Marvel Studios, had wanted to make a show about Loki, and then really excited about where we would go. And they were very generous and inclusive in asking me what I thought I hadn't explored yet as the character. Because we covered quite a lot of ground in the Thor movies and in the Avengers movies, but there were still things in various bits of research I'd done over the years, which I thought, oh, we haven't done that. We could explore this, and they were gracious enough to include some of my ideas, but most of the best ones did not belong to me.
Being part of the Marvel universe wasn't something I'd ever really pursued per se, but when this came along, I was really excited to learn more. And Kate Herron, our director, pitched the whole 6 episodes to me over the phone in about 2 hours, which was kind of mind-blowing to get my head around the scope and scale of the TVA and this whole new element of the world. But yeah, and then the idea of being a part of a Loki show, an anti-hero, a mischievous character that everybody knows and loves, and to be able to see, new layers to his journey was really cool. And then my character, Ravonna Renslayer, a character I wasn't necessarily familiar with, but, understanding that she's a judge, she's authoritative, she's respected and powerful, and she has sort of morally, complex decisions to make. I don't know, I found the whole thing really intriguing, and also just the chance to do some action, some fights, some more physical, comic book kind of stuff was really enticing as well.
Exciting to be a part of the MCU, and also to be sort of working on this series that is kind of introducing kind of a whole new storyline and showing the Marvel fans, introducing them to a new world.
So excited to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, I fell in love with Marvel after watching Black Panther, and I was convinced that I needed to be a part of the universe after that. And so I was really, really excited and humbled to get offered this part in Loki.
To take my place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe feels so exciting, a little bit overwhelming, and I'm very grateful to be here.
I'm a fan of the MCU and the sci-fi genre, so having a chance to direct Loki was honestly a dream come true. Like, I love the character. I think he has one of the best arcs across the MCU for the last 10 years. And I've always loved sci-fi, and I've always wanted to direct big, bold genre stories. And it was these two things I really love coming together. So I'm just really excited to share that with everyone.
In terms of the bits of Loki that you haven't seen before, what's interesting is that in this show, it's the Loki you know in a world you don't know. And he's stripped of all the things that are familiar. There's no Thor, there's no Odin, there's no Frigga, there's no Asgard, he doesn't even have his clothes or his magical powers. And so the question for me was, without those things, what remains? What makes Loki Loki? And the TVA, this organization, this institution that governs the order of time, is extremely confronting for him. It sort of is a mirror for himself. And he's forced to integrate some of the things perhaps he's always run from, some of the aspects of his life and his interior life and driven towards a curiosity about finding out more. So, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but he's still the same guy. Charming, witty, charismatic on the outside, broken, fragmented, and a bit isolated on the inside. But there's room for maneuver, and maybe there's a chance he can change. We'll see.
I think what attracted me to the part of Sylvie is how sort of broken she is. I find it interesting to play characters who are damaged and who wear sort of a lot of armor, but you know, they also get a chance to show their vulnerability, and within that, I find, you know, that the most fun stuff to play. She's also really funny, and she gets some funny lines, which is always fun.
What I love about Hunter B15 is that she's a stickler for the rules. And I think that's something that I kind of am too. I do not like breaking the rules, like, not really. I mean, sometimes I do. But I guess sometimes we all have to, right? But yeah, I really love that she is someone who, like, right and wrong is something that motivates her. It's like she wants to constantly be on the good side of history, of, you know, and that's something that I really admire about her. Yeah. I don't know how similar we are. I feel like that not wanting to break the rules definitely feels similar, but she's quite a lot tougher than me. She can handle herself in a way that I definitely cannot.
So what attracted me to the part of Ravonna Renslayer was really the fact that this is almost her origin story, if you like, and she obviously has a whole life in the comics, but for me to be able to play a judge, this authoritative figure who's powerful and respected, I hadn't really played a character like that before, you know, with that kind of gravitas. So I was excited for the challenge of that, and also the fact that she has this backstory as a hunter coming up the ranks from a military background. So knowing that she, you know, is tough and has really, you know, risen up the ranks through her own sheer grit and determination was really exciting. And then just also the dynamic with Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, I thought would be really fun, as you know, she's his boss essentially, and he's sort of this maverick agent that you know, has these sort of harebrained, more sort of reckless ideas, and she's always trying to sort of toe him to line, you know, and with the timekeepers as well. So I thought there was just a lot of, you know, scope for some fun dynamics to play.
What attracted me to the role of Mobius is when I spoke with the director, and Kate walked me through the dynamic that would exist between Loki and Mobius, and it just sounded like something that was kind of interesting, the way it was going to sort of be a little bit of a chess match, and you know, and are these guys, is it just a business where Mobius is, you know, using Loki? Is there any feeling behind there? It's just, there's kind of interesting nuances to play.
So my vision for the series, I always try and have like a central question every time I go into a story. And I really wanted to explore, like, is anyone truly good or truly bad? And can we move past our, like, you know, actions in the past? Will they always define us, or can we move past those? And I think Loki is a fantastic example of that, and also that gray area between good and bad. And I was really keen to kind of talk about Loki's identity and just, you know, where he will travel in our story. So